It is I, the Lit Gypsy, your freedom liberator, lover, and warrior. Today's episode is about awareness and reality, and what it actually means to be aware of your reality. What is reality, and also how are we perceiving our reality? Very, very recently, I've had a session related to matrix therapy, or a therapy that allows, through conversation and through specific wording, to tell and treat the subconscious in a way that is beneficial, positive, and emotionally freeing to its desires in subconscious level. So thereon after, within a few days, a week, I started to shift and feel a lot differently. And another conversation that I had around reality, I was kind of opening up to a new level of awareness through having this done. I often will promote this in my sound therapy, that you let go of these old beliefs, new patterns, ideas and understandings, and your self-liberation and your self-empowerment. So obviously the therapist needs some therapy sometimes, and it's great to have your own mentor and your own guidance system. So when I had this discussion around reality, I was coming from a level of needing to understand everything. Prior to the epiphany, I have been very much on my own journey, seeking, understanding in every little detail of my life, and every little coincidence, synchronicity, circumstance, mindset, whatever, everything that was happening in my daily life and my daily ritual. I was seeking outwardly for different stimulus and different understandings and ideas as to why this, or this would happen. Conclusion is that you always end up with 3 or 4 different circumstances of evidence, but also it's just a mind fuck. So, then we ask other people, and all these other people give us advice and opinions and situations that are related to them and their experience that then we perceive as our own. This is where storytelling comes in, because we often will have life experience where we've had all of these different ideas put into our mind, and that's how we perceive a certain subject or situation. And so on this topic of reality, as we all know, the God complex, the God system, is related to, obviously there's a being, or there's an instance where there's something of a greater force than us that is keeping us safe, keeping us on our path, keeping us good or bad, whatever your duality. When you consider it in a light that God is within, everything obviously makes a lot of sense, that we are all connected, we are all part of each other in some way or another, because we are all like God, or this energy, or universe, or Gaia, or whatever you want to say, creation. And it's true, obviously, if you want to believe it that way, but the understanding of it is so broad and so unapplied to anything. It's really hard to make sense of something in a situation that feels negative, or that feels like you're not in control. And then you sit back and you go, okay, I'm just going to let this happen. God's in control, or the universe will look after me, or I'm putting it out there and it's going to happen, right? So how often does it not happen? Because you're either not matching those thoughts, but you're not really understanding the concept of what reality is. And I'm a big one for this, and I switch between them all the time. I'm alternating all the time, because I'm allowing external influences and constant knowledge seeker. This is just what I'm like. I need to know everything all the time, and I want to learn new things, and I often maybe am not finding the right sources, or I'm listening too much with my emotion to an instance or a situation that would influence my belief. So back to the God story. Once everything, we are all connected in one form or another. When you start assessing past lives and karmic connections and things that are allowing other people to enter each other's realities, we are obviously all connected, but we are obviously living our own version of reality based on our level of belief and our openness to understanding. So obviously I practice everything that I preach, but there's levels of my awareness that I haven't reached yet. So each time I'm learning, I'm going to share with other people, because I don't live something that I don't believe in. But if I'm teaching something, like anyone, we're going to just keep teaching what we have learned, and my level of awareness has obviously changed from what it was a year ago. So yes, I believed in law of attraction. Yes, I believed in understanding emotions and allowing things to go in the flow, but I wasn't able to maintain that level of flow all the time. Since having this conversation, I've decided that everything is in the flow, but it's related more so to how I'm perceiving the flow. Yes, I've noticed this and I understand this before, but you're receiving good and bad as contentment. You're really just trying to understand and make observation and bring information from each situation. If you are particularly someone that is a channel or a medium, we all have these gifts because we are all connected. You're not any greater or any less than someone else because they have a greater gift than you. It's nothing to do with that. If your level of awareness is more open, you will then be able to be more reciprocative, I don't even know if that's a word, towards other beings. You're able to tap into them. It's called intuition or telepathy. You're able to tap into them and understand their influences, their experiences, their beliefs, along with everyone else in your field that you've had a closer interaction with, or you might not even know the other person. You're able to understand and gain a greater understanding from that person and give them insight in a way that you've channeled or that your higher self is guiding you to direct. If we all began to learn that God is within, but that as we are within ourselves, our greatest gift, we will then be able to attract those and give to those that need the same advice, but also share with those that are needing those skills. I know in the Bible they wrote about charlatans and people that are going to be coming out around the rapture that will be faking it, or that will be coming out with these falsities that are not going to maybe benefit humanity, but they're going to try and benefit in a money way. I don't think people realize that it's actually happening, but it's true because it's us using our awareness in order to gain, income from it because it's our skill, but we're not necessarily realizing that we're following this belief and this strategy that we think is real when it might not necessarily be real. Like, I would have thought clairvoyant, a channel, a medium, even, tarot cards. Yes, there's all science and things behind them, but I understand more now in a different way that they're just tapping into your experience. They're tapping into, yes, if you've got a dead one or someone that's died, it might not necessarily be this reality they've tapped into. It's not a past life, which had a complex around past lives, and I used to get really irritated that I don't want to live another life after this. I just found it bewildering. I didn't want to live another life, and I just couldn't accept that. Also, the past life, I was holding all my relationships to a past life value. I'm like, oh, there must be a lesson in this. That's a crock of shit. Like, who wants to live like that, thinking this person must have damaged me and done that to me in a past life, which is why we're learning these lessons. I understand the ideology around it, but it's as though the past life or the connections you're having are related to every energetic string that's attached to them that's giving them that belief system, but also you may have in your alternate reality that you also are living, you're attaching in some way or another to their thought form and their beliefs. This is just a concept. It's just really interesting trying to share it. And it makes a lot more sense and simplifies a lot more in some ways and not, but it gives you the sense of totalitarianism where you just, is that the right word? Everything just comes together and you're not feeling as though you need to rely on outside sources. You've got to wait for signs. You've got to wait for things to happen. You've got to sit back and you've got to think about it. That's bullshit. I feel like it's just something that has to happen where you sit down and you really gain that sense of self awareness and love, but also just realize that everything in your reality, they say you attract what you think about. So if it's good or bad, yes, that's true. But if you're thinking about things in the past and present, that's fine. The present is obviously your manifestation. The past is what you know, is experiences that you're defining and you identify, but you don't really necessarily want to keep living by them. That's fine. But having that total amount of presence allows you to really just feel like you're living this reality. You're not worrying about, again, the signs, the meanings, everything that's related. You're just able to identify simply what it is that you're experiencing at the time. When you can do that in a constant state all day, every day, that's where the law of attraction comes in, where you start saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm identifying with. I'm only got to think those nice thoughts. If you then begin to think that way, you're going to be connecting with those through your strings that you identify with properly. You know, even if it is in another reality or whatnot, you're getting that information and your higher self is allowing you to receive. If you're not open to it, you're obviously not going to receive on the level that you need to. But there's different levels of openness that are allowing you to receive the information that you need at the time. It's really your soul or your God's way of sharing with you the levels that you need, because obviously this level of metaphysics is not going to be resonating with people who just really have no understanding yet, or they're on a kind of a slight brink. But then even if I heard this a year ago, I would have only made sense of it on how I needed to at the time. I may have picked up on a couple of words and not really made sense of it exactly how I'm making sense of it now. So when people say create your ideal lifestyle, create, you know, the life that you need, I was fluctuating between them all the time because my vibration wasn't matching what I was drawing towards me. Or I do it and manifest it and then get a negative thought or let it completely retract on where I was vibrationally. So I was fluctuating between the two of them all the time. Now I just constantly feel like I'm in control because I am my God. I am God. You are God. And it's you are your reality, and it's a fearful thing for us to take this responsibility within ourselves, because again, I was relying on so much external stuff that was giving me support, but I really just had to slap myself and say, where have you come from? What are you doing? Stop running. Just do what you need to get done. And that's all I had to say. I hope it makes sense. And peace. Watch my video. Share my page. Share my video. Go onto the Instagram, Facebook page, The Lit Gypsy. I would so appreciate it if anyone could give me some of their thoughts on reality. I've taken this inspiration from my lovely friend James Cole. He's at Empowering Meditations, but I'm sure you can ask me if you want some cool insights. Yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.